more of the same drama as we head into homecoming week with Kentucky coming to town. Hi, everybody. I'm Russ Stanton. I cover Mississippi State for lastwordoncollegefootball.com. The drama I'm talking about is which quarterback is going to start. The last three pictures you saw there were Will Rogers. Is he healthy? Will he make it? Mike Wright. Will he start in case Rogers doesn't go? And then we have a third one that just came up this week. Chris Parson. It's a rumor, but Chris is a four-star recruit. True freshman, never started a game before in the college before. Last year he was playing high school ball, but he entered early enrollment, has been with Wright and Rogers ever since, and knows the ins and outs. Coaches speak very highly of him, so you never know what kind of drama can be done. So the rest of the show, we're going to talk with Rick Cleveland's back. We're going to rehash the Auburn game, if you can believe that. Later on, we'll be talking with Kevin McGuffey. He covers Kentucky for lastwordoncollegefootball.com. He'll be coming to us from Lexington. But first, let's get with Rick Cleveland. Rick is the host of High School Sports Today with Rick Cleveland. It can be heard all over the state of Alabama on about 7 radio stations, but just cut to the chase early and go to your browser and open it to 100.3, Kicks 100.3 out of Sylacauga. So I asked Rick, tell me what the hell happened. You were there. Auburn was not supposed to be that good on offense.
Yeah, well, yeah, and really it surprised all of us. I mean, all of us that are Auburn folk here in this area, and we really needed that win. I thought Peyton Thorne looked entirely different, just totally different. Had a lot of confidence. He let go of the ball when he needed to let go of the ball. He pushed the ball downfield. The only thing I thought he did a little I hope he does better this weekend in Nashville is he left the pocket sometimes a little bit too soon. He just kind of he didn't give it a chance for the receivers to get into their route completely. So, but that's okay. Did it surprise me to see the kind of football player that we've got at running back? Damari Austin is going to be a good football player, but we got a really special football player when you talk about Jaquez Hunter. He's special. He's special.
Well, you know what's interesting about him that I saw, and I compare him to kind of like Woody Marks on our side, on the Mississippi State side, is that he runs the ball and runs hard. I mean, he's a really hard runner, but he took that pass over the shoulder from Thorne, and it was like a beautiful thing. Just dropped it right in there, and he took it right into the end zone. And he's a dual threat that way.
Well, and you mentioned something there that I think is often understated, because he catches the ball better out of the backfield than most running backs catch the ball. If you'll watch him, he catches the ball with his hands. A lot of running backs come out in the backfield when they're in the flat. You know this, being an old fullback, they catch the ball with their body. Not Hunter. Yeah. Hunter catches the ball with his hands, thumbs together, fingertips like that when he needs to have them more. He just does it the way coaches want him to catch the ball. So
that'll do him well in the NFL. That's for sure.
Right, it will. And I thought he made an athletic move when he hurdled the guy too. That's pretty. I don't think it's a very wise move, and I'm sure when Coach Freeze and Cadillac were watching the film and replaying it, I'm sure that he said they both told him, said, "We don't need you to do that anymore, and your future family doesn't need you to do that anymore." So,
if he has one after that,
that's right. That's right. That's exactly right.
You got Mike Wright, who was originally like a backup quarterback. He would come in on a Wildcat periodically, and now he's the starter. And he was the starter the week before. And they're the hero, Will Rogers, is not playing, so he's got a loyal offensive front line. Will Rogers does. Yeah. How well do they play for a backup coming in like that?
Well, that's the same thing a lot of people thought about Alabama too. They thought that, the reason Alabama didn't do as well at one point in the season was because the offensive line was loyal to the quarterback that wasn't playing. So now that quarterback's playing full time, and they seem to be doing very well. There may be some things. Chemistry has a lot to do with offensive line play. Who those guys trust has a lot to do with it.
I'd like to thank Rick for joining me today. Remember, he hosts the show High School Sports Today with Rick Cleveland. It can be heard all over the state of Alabama, but if you want to be sure, just put in your browser 100.3. That's Kicks 100.3 out of Sylacauga. Next, we have a colleague of mine from lastwordoncollegefootball.com. He's Kevin McGuffey, and he covers Kentucky. So we had a little chat about the upcoming game.
Kentucky's made more of an emphasis on throwing the ball this year. I know for most people, when you think of Mark Stoops, you think of that ground game. You think about the Benny Snells, Chris Rodriguez's. Mm-hmm. But with Devin Leary in as the quarterback, they've made a concerted effort on trying to throw the ball more this year. And the offense finally clicked like everyone up here has been hoping that it would against Tennessee, where Leary threw for 373 yards. 2 touchdowns. I believe it's the most yards he's thrown for since I think it was against Wake Forest 2 years ago.
It seems like it's almost like every game he gets a little better, and the last game, I mean, you really had Tennessee on the ropes here for a while.
Yeah, that's the story of the Kentucky-Tennessee rivalry, it seems like.
Right, yeah.
Kentucky seemingly has Tennessee on the ropes every time, and by some whatever reason or magic or whatever evil, whatever you want to call it, Tennessee always seems to pull out the win. But as you said, as we were talking about, Leary finally looked like that guy that the Big Blue Nation was hoping for when they signed him back in December. He was the top ranked quarterback coming out of the transfer portal.
How are they looking at the quarterback situation at Mississippi State? I mean, it's all every week. It's been a mystery who's going to start. Right. Now we've got a third party thrown into the mix.
Right. Yeah. I think that's from the Kentucky standpoint, that's kind of like, okay, so normally you'd have one person to prepare for, but honestly, you've got 3, I guess, because you have Rogers, I guess, has been out, and then Mike Wright, who is Kentucky fans, unfortunate, notorious Kentucky nemesis.
Well, last year with Vandy, right?
Right, yeah. Right. He was the quarterback when Vandy upset Kentucky and Lexington, one of the game we don't like to talk about, but when they broke that 26-game losing streak. And then they have the recruit, is it Chris Parson, right?
Chris Parson, right.
Yeah, because he was a guy that Kentucky heavily recruited coming out of high school, and then went to Florida State. I think originally committed to Florida State, right, and then ended up at Mississippi State. So yeah, you have that situation. It's like, so you got one guy, Rogers, who's a great thrower. You have a Wright, who's a great runner, and then you have Parson, who's, I guess, is kind of the great unknown. So
exactly.
One. I mean, has he played at all this year? Or?
He has not. He's not. I'm sure he's suited up, but he hasn't actually played. So I think Coach Arnett is throwing that out there as a red herring to make everybody keep guessing. You had 2 you had to guess for. Now you've got a third guy who hasn't even seen the field yet, but who knows? And he, basically Arnett said in his Monday press conference, he said, I think I wouldn't be wise to reveal my game plan at this point. It's only Monday, guys. So, it's
right. Yeah. I think, I saw a clip online of that, and he's like, because somebody asked him, said, "Are you going to play him?" And he goes, "Maybe."
And then you've got the cowbells that Kentucky has to deal with. So,
oh yes, the lovely cowbells. That's always you if you follow like Big Blue Twitter, during, or X, whatever you want to call it, during the game,
right.
Every other comment will be like, do something about those stupid cowbells. Like they shouldn't be able to, because you're only supposed to be able to ring them when the game's not going on. But we know that doesn't.
Well, please. I think they're pretty good about it, to be honest. Well, and back in the day, they used to use the cowbells in basketball games, if you can imagine. But it was Adolph Rupp who had them banned. So you can thank your legendary coach for that.
Coach for that. I got you.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Kevin. I look for both of us on lastwordoncollegefootball.com. Yes, and I'll be talking to you later. Thanks a lot, Kevin.
Alrighty.
Take care.
Thank you again I really appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Take care. Well, that'll just about do it for this time. But one more note before we go. Remember that it's homecoming over in Starkville this weekend. They'll be honoring the 1998 SEC West Championship team. Head coach Jackie Sherrill will be there. Some of the players, most of the band, and the cheerleaders will be there as well. So keep note of that. If you can't be there, at least pay attention on TV. Also, look for my post-game article on lastwordoncollegefootball.com. So have a great Saturday. Have a great game day. Have a great weekend. And I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.